Well, morning to the artist in recovery this morning. I caught your act this morning. It's 9:21 Pacific Standard Time in the morning, May 31st, 2023, the Weaver, John C. Roseman, California. I could put this on my diary of the graver named John Weaver as well, which would be me. Okay, we gotta talk art. Eventually, you're gonna get your name right, so it's either gonna be art, artist, or whatever. Throwing that bone out there. Let's talk about your vid. Business minded? You're talking about grifters here, dude. You didn't even catch this. You're trying to think of the debt ceiling as a business negotiation. There is no business negotiation. 14th Amendment states we pay our bills. In jest, we pay our debts. We've had this thing since the Civil War. We had been so far in debt, even from the Revolutionary War, that we were still trying to pay it off during that time when the Civil War kicked in. We were broke. Our country was broke when we founded it. When our, shall I call them ancestors, founded, created the Constitution of the United States. First, we had Articles of Confederation because we wanted the states to have more power. And the states allowed the banks to acquire all the land they could to gather all their funding that they lost. And threw off a lot of people off businesses and farms and stuff like that they couldn't pay off the debts. We owed debts to a foreign country. We hadn't had the resources because we used all the resources necessary and borrowed a hell of a lot of resources to fight a revolutionary war to get our 13 colonies founded as a small mini nation if we could. But because we didn't have the federal power during that time, we only had power in the states. That made things a hell of a lot worse for the individual. We had our uprising, Shays Rebellion, research that one, which forced us to get federal power in order to quell off what was going on, but also to stop the hemorrhaging from people who were basically bleeding dry by losing everything they had to pay off the debts. So when we started this country, we started up with originally with the Articles of Confederation. As I said before, put the power into the states, but we didn't have the federal power. Here comes the Constitution of the United States. Gives us the federal power to regulate our debt. And during that time, we didn't have the 14th Amendment created during that time. We had to have that created, as I believe, and studied. This was back after the Civil War happened about in 1864. We had our debts going. And we still had to pay our debts. We still borrowed from other countries to help us with the Civil War. We also had to, earlier on, had to fight off a British incursion again because they wanted, what was it, 18 War of 1812? And we had to have current debts during that time. So we had debts. But Lincoln was determined to make sure that the United States would be solvent. We pay our debts. Even though we had to have a debt ceiling. So we started around that time. And it's been increasing ever since. Now we got trillions. In this generation, in this time, in this year, we got trillions. There had been maybe other times that we tried to stabilize it and tried to lower it down because of the economy was doing a little better. But we didn't take it all the way down to zero, though, because we still owe. We still owe creditors. We still owe countries. But we pay our debts. We put it into the 14th Amendment. We will not invalidate that. If we don't get a deal going to where we're actually able to get this passed, the President of the United States of this current term is going to have to invoke the 14th. And it's going to have to force Congress, who is in charge of the purse, by the way. The Congress is in charge of the purse and of the laws. They're controlling the money. That's how it's written. But Congress keeps failing to understand this. At least some of the MAGA report. I call them maggots, not MAGA. Maggots. They are maggots. They create more and more flies. It creates more and more maggots. It's a self-perpetuating cycle they got going on. But they also learn how to do the art of the grift. The 45th orange gas bag that came into office was the grifter. And he really taught a lot of people how to grift. And now we got them. Now we got people trying to force their will on other people, including all the state officials. So now our country is really going hell in a handbasket. We are seeing a civil war of sorts right now. I cannot look at it from a business-minded or a business point of view. I have to look at it the legal and logistical. We paid it, period. There is a video out there, artist. There is a video out there. I got to get that link to you. That I saw this one that Katie Porter was talking about. And she was talking to somebody in one of our subcommittee meetings they had. C-SPAN should also have it as well somewhere. She was talking to this professor about a hypothetical situation that would bring it more logistically and more logical to the people, make it a little bit more digestible, understandable. That you have a certain credit limit. You get a credit card, you got a certain credit limit, but you want to have that limit. You have a self-imposed limit. But then somehow, with all the expenses that you get, stuff that you needed exceeds it. But you don't have the means to pay it down. Now, usually on credit cards, they will go to a higher limit, but that's it. But now, they want you to pay it off. Now, with the credit cards, you pay them off slowly but surely. You're paying off interest, but you're not paying off the principal. The interest keeps accumulating each year or each pay cycle. And the interest rate is still there. And all we're doing is just paying off the interest here. Just keep paying off the interest. Because the other debt will not be touched. Our situation right now, we have been paying off the interest like crazy. We've been increasing it left and right. We've been trying to pay off the interest. But we cannot pay the original debt. But because we're still paying for the interest, we're still giving a signal to the bank, so to speak, that we're still willing to pay off our debts. It's just going to take a little bit more time. And yes, we are leveraging against every generation that comes up, and that's still going to be stuck with the damn thing. Until we actually get an influx large enough into the system to pay it off downwards. Give me a couple of seconds. I got to walk a dog. All right, artist. Let's put it in terms you can understand at this point. I know you can, but let's put into an argument here. You have a house. Your house is the country. That's your fiefdom. However, I'm the bank. I'm a bank. I'm a lord. I have just given you money to secure your domicile. Me of this country, known as the me. I just helped secure your property. You went through a devastating situation over here to get that property, sir. How dare you? You dare thinking you're going against the grain here? You dared get your independence? Living alone as you are? And try to be debt-free? Oh, no. Let us see what we got over here. Oh, yes. You went through a hell of a wall, didn't you, sir? I'll see that. You asked for 100 cannonades, a dozen wooden ships for your flotilla, not to mention all the ammunition necessary. Oh, do we also talk about manpower? Well, you had the manpower for that. You just needed the equipment, right? Not to mention a ton of muskets and musket balls and also powder as well. You wanted to arrange a war to secure your fiefdom. Well, congratulations, sir. You now owe, oh, good Lord, you owe this much. What are you going to do to pay off your debt? What? You'll promise to pay off the debt. No, I want my money now. No, you will pay me now. You will not argue. You want to put a payment plan in motion? And how are you going to pay it off? My God, man, you just won your war against this other country over here now. Your home's your fiefdom. And it's divided. And you don't even have the resources necessary. How in Samuel am I supposed to be running a country over here and also my own damn fiefdom over here? I can't even depend upon you. I want my money. If it takes every generation, I would get to my money. The interest I paid you at this point. The solitary loans I gave you. The capital necessary. This will go down in generations after generations. We will keep the ledger on you. Ha! Now, let us talk. Okay. Almighty ledger. Do not touch it. Do not damage the credibility of what we have over here. Your credibility is online, sir. Even if it takes every damn generation, you will be paying it off one way or another. You owe us that much. And now, you have a civil war engaging? And it's only been about 100 years, and now you got a civil war? Oh, we like this even worse. Because now you need to borrow from us to pay things off. Ye gods, are you guys daft? Well, what do you need from us? More! You can't even supply your own firearms. What more do you want? You still pay us. Oh, is that what you wanted? Oh, type it into the ledger over here. Okay, we got that into the ledger. Your debt ceiling, sir, has just been increased. You made a promise in your Constitution in the 40th Amendment, did you, sir? How very noble of you. And you're promising to pay off your debts. You will be paying off your debts. You will be paying off your debts. Every damn generation you've got, every administration, you will be paying off your debts. You have a solitary amount of money that you owe us here. But now the interest rate will be growing and growing each time. You must find a way. You must find a way. Oh, now we're going back time and into another example. Well, here we go, sir. Now you've got a fixed rate credit card that you can spend like crazy, and you still have to haggle with your own people for the credit ceiling. You still owe us the interest. You still owe us the balance, the principal interest. The core money that you paid to us originally has been growing tremendously. I know you have needs concerning about your domestic and your domestic spending and your military spending. But you do realize your businesses have to pick up the pace. You need more manufacturing. You need more job creation. Damn it, man, you need to increase your sales at this point over here. Otherwise, you're just living on borrowed time. Do you not understand this? I am the bank. I am your financial master. You will pay. Otherwise, I will own you. I will own you and your stinking country you call a home. It'll take a bit of a time, but we will break you financially because you cannot keep your spending down. Yes, I've heard. I've heard about your conservatives out there. They want that down, but they don't want to feed people. They don't want medical coverage for them. It's not a God-given right in your precious Constitution or amendments. Life, liberty, and happiness? It doesn't mean anything to you, sir? Just what kind of country are you running here? Oh, well, you want more financing because you want more guns. Why do you want more guns? Oh, so you can shoot yourselves in the streets. Well, that's just bloody insane right there, sir. And your so-called sections in your home are at war with each other. Each room is at war with each other. They want subdivisions because they have too much people going through your gates. Setting up little places to live. And now you've got a war going on inside of your country there, sir. You got people arguing with each other, who's right and who's wrong, and who's got the master of that place. Is this how it works? Good Lord, what kind of country are you running? And you're having a fight with the neighbors constantly. Oh God, I don't want to hear about this. I just want my money. Go away. Go away. Yeah, I know that's a little off the top at this point over here, but sometimes I like to go a little off the top at this point. We have a capital. We still have to pay. We got the interest rate like crazy. It's like dealing with the credit card if we all look at it at the business point of view. We can only do it so much before one of these here days we're going to get called on our debt. Until we get that called, we still have to manage our own resources here, but we have to keep raising that ceiling. We got no choice. We have to keep paying the debts. Otherwise, we're going to be risk losing everything we got. Our credit rating goes into the toilet. S&P will rate us. It's like going defaulting on every damn credit card you got and can't pay the damn bills because you haven't got the funding coming in. And the reason why we have to keep having the IRS agents increasing because we need to gather more resources, not just on the poor, not on the middle class, but yes, we must tax the rich at this point. We have to recoup it somehow. And I know they're going to keep the accounts off the books and offshore because they think they're going to be protecting your assets. Well, if they got the assets here, we're going to get them. We need them. We need to liquidate. We need to get the funding back. We need to pay off the debt as much as possible, but we also need to keep our own people alive. And that means we have to make choices and sacrifices we don't like to make. There's a lot of things in the current negotiations going on right now that I don't even like. But we've got no choice. We have to pay this crap off. We got people saying that we got a woke government. We got a woke style. And we got this one madman from Florida who wants his own insanity to run the country. He thinks he can run it. If we happen to look at his business models right now, he's running us into the ground. He's running Florida into the ground. He is pissing off the business people left and right. He's taking away freedoms and education. He wants a state-sponsored educational system. He wants control. He's going after big businesses in his own state that is generating his state wealth. And they call that woke. The reason why I kept doing the videos that I've been doing, and yeah, they are mislabeled at this point, and I still got to get to them and rework the labels. But the videos are still out there. And they have got to indicate to people that we need to understand this shit. We cannot let our country be divided with all this damn divisive and woke crap that we're hearing from the right. And the left is not exactly all that great either, but I'm not hearing conspiracy theories coming out of these guys on the left. Just always on the right. I understand about trying to keep a balanced mind, an open mind. But not when you're saying that there are dragons and then there are monsters crawling around on the earth, that the earth is flat, and that we have sea serpents that we have to watch out for because they're tricky. And that the Democrats are drinking the blood of our kids. that there was a Pizzagate going on, that Hunter Biden and his laptop is the most crucial thing in the entire universe at this point. And yet, we're going to be interfering with people's decision on how to administer what kind of health that they got because we have to tell them what kind of health that they're going to have. And the people still allow this shit. They're listening to a lot of hoopla and they're seeing books being banned left and right without opening minds. We're closing them left and right. We're changing universities that allow open-minded discussion. But no, we have to have one thought of discussion over here. And we have circumnavigations against state and federal laws. We have state officials who want to overturn the Constitution one way or another, bypass the damn thing, agreeing that an insurrection never happened, that people actually got killed, but they didn't get killed, they got retired. And that we were going to be hanging a vice president out in public. There was actually a guillotine. No, not guillotine. That was just a hangman's noose. It would have been far dramatic on camera if they actually had a French-style guillotine. But then again, that'd be the most terrifying, utmost thing I would ever see of a human trying to do to another human. So, no, we have a rope. We're going to hang him. We're going to hang the vice president because we got all these people saying, hang the vice president, hang the vice president. And they're chanting it left and right. It's like, put Hillary in prison right now. Why? She hadn't had a trial yet. She's not guilty. Doesn't matter. We want to put her in trial anyway. We want all this stuff right now. Give it to us right now. Bullies, spoiled brats, lunatics. That's all we got running. And the adults are scratching their heads because they're going to get impeached. Why? Because the lunatics want to get them impeached. We no longer have a country here. We have an insane asylum here running. The warden, the orderlies, the doctors running the entire psychotic field that we're living in right now. They're getting chased out by the inmates. The inmates are going to be running everything else, and they're going to be doing the Lord of the Flies. That's another book that got banned. Lord of the Flies? Yeah, I'm going off on this tangent over here. I know I was talking about the debt ceiling, but it's all connected somehow. You see, chaos theory tries to find chaos in everything, and yet we want things orderly. Try to find order in chaos at this point over here. Maybe there's a pattern, maybe there isn't. I don't know. The debt ceiling has to be increased, unfortunately, and we got to find the funding somewhere to level it off, which means we need the IRS agents to go after people, but not the lower class. They go after the elite, and we need the funding back. They don't like it. We get it. But they don't like it because they're going to force everybody else down below to go ape. That's how it is right now. Talk simple to them, Gart. Tell them how insane we are going right now. We're not living in a united country. We're living in a divided country. Our values, our ways of life have been divided. It's one thing a long time ago we were called the Great American Melting Pot. Do you remember what that was? Do you understand the analogy? Or even metaphorically what it stands for? Everything else in one stew. We're going to use a food analogy at this point. Every ingredient we got on there and what holds it together, each of these things, the binding nature of the broth, the thickening of it, the complexity, and sometimes the little subtle flavoring, but everything else has to have its own flavor, its own texture. Otherwise, what do you got? Slop. It's not delicious. It's just there and falling apart people picking the ingredients out there and thinking this is the stew. This ingredient here is the stew. No, the stew is everything else in it. It's the plurality. It's plurality. It's our mix of things that we understand. I'll tell you another one. An aberration episode of the series of The West Wing. A commemoration to 9/11. Students were inside the cafeteria of the White House when it went on lockdown because of some terrorist threat outside that forced everybody to hunker down. Everybody had their own place to go. While one episode was looking for their object and got it wrong and trying to understand why they were on a hunt looking for the wrong person or wrong type of person because they had it typecasted. But the other argument, actually the other portion of it, was what happened in the cafeteria. The discussions were there trying to show us why things were happening, explaining plurality, differences, cultures. It was Adam Sorkin's way of explaining things to people. And it was a good way. If you can find that series again, if you can find that episode, watch it. Understand it. This is what we're dealing with. Closed-minded individuals, including on our own soil, in our own government, that our people, our own voters, keep voting in because they don't know any better. And now they got the grifters and charlatans and whatnots, the lunatics of an insane asylum, turning our own country into an insane asylum. Hell, we already got it as a shooting gallery. Might as well have an insane asylum. We can all wear matching uniforms. The white straitjacket. And we get our own padded rooms. We're ending up in that way right now as it is. Not a very nice way of looking at things. That's how we are these days. And if we default on our credit, the maggots version of it says, oh well. Oh well. We go default. Big deal. We deserve to crash and burn. Yeah. That's America for you right now, isn't it?